Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now with today's main headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi says that traveller's prayer is complete in the entire city of Karbala. Governor of the holy city of Karbala says that this year's Arba'een is the largest pilgrimage Holy Karbala has ever witnessed. "750 local and foreign journalists in the holy city of Karbala to cover the holy Arba'een pilgrimage." Human rights groups call for specific mechanism to investigate human rights violations in Afghanistan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves live from London only on Imam Hussein TV 3. The daily scholarly meetings of Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein Shirazi was held on Sunday, the 17th of Safar. In this session, like the previous meetings, he answered the questions of the attendees about various jurisprudence issues. Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein Shirazi discussed the positions of choice to perform complete or shortened prayers, naming 4 places, cities of Mecca, Medina, Kufa and Karbala. The Marja then explained that there are several hadiths about performing complete prayer in Karbala, with the difference being only in the limits specified. Some narrations have mentioned only the ha'ar, that is 25 cubits, equal to 12.5 meters distance from each side to the holy grave of Imam Hussein, and not the dharih, because the holy grave of Imam Hussein alayhi salam is 20 cubits away from the dharih. His Eminence went on to say that a group of jurists have made this ruling about the entire city of Karbala, because there are authentic traditions which say that the entire Karbala is the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and so is not just the ha'ar, pointing out that there is a division of opinion between the fuqaha on this marja issue. And the marja continued to say that the author of Urwatul Wuthqa, a group of scholars, and myself are of the opinion that this ruling applies to the whole city of Karbala, and one can perform complete prayers in the hotel, street and house and within the perimeters of Karbala. Let's watch the statement of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi.
بله نه هیچ کی نگفته. بعضی گفتن جایز کامل خون، یعنی مخیره، یعنی میتونه کامل بخونه، میتونه قصر بخونه. کل شهر کربلا. بله این محل خلافه. بعضی ها گفتن تا 25 ذراع. 25 ذراع یعنی 12 متر و نیم، نه از ذریح، از قبر طاهر صلوات الله علی الامام الحسین، از هر 4 طرف تا 12 متر و نیم اینجا. اما جماعتی هم از فقها گفتن، منم برداشتم همینه، که کل شهر کربلا انسان مخیره، کسی که مسافره نمازش رو شکسته بخونه یا تموم بخونه. وقتی که روایت میگه کربلا حرم الحسین علیه السلام، در موضوع تخییر بین قصر و تمام، و خلقت گفتن کربلا. یه وقتایی کربلا کوچیک بوده، شاید 10-20 متر اطراف ذریح بیشتر نبوده زمان قدیم. حالا کربلا بزرگ شده. موضوع کربلاست، هر قد سعه و ضیق پیدا کنه. مثل که تو روایت داره مکه حرم الله، هر قد مکه بزرگ و کوچیک بشه، هر قد گفتن مکه مکه است دیگه.
The governor of the holy city of Karbala, Saif al-Khattabi, said that today, Monday, that millions of pilgrims from all over the world arrived in the holy city of Karbala to commemorate the Arba'een of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Al-Khattabi was hosted by Road to Al-Hussein TV, which showed by Imam Hussein TV 2, as he spoke about the activities and services being offered to the honourable pilgrims during this Arba'een massive pilgrimage. He said that this year's Arba'een cannot be described as we see millions of pilgrims defying the rising temperatures still arriving in the city of the Master of Martyrs alayhi salam. The governor extended his thanks and appreciation to all the Mawakibs and called them to stay until after the Arba'een to receive other pilgrims who will also arrive in the city to commemorate the Arba'een. The director of the Iraqi Journalist Federation, the Holy Karbala office, Hussein al-Shammari, has revealed the number of local and foreign journalists who came to the holy city to cover the ceremonies of the Arba'in pilgrimage of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Al-Shammari said in a press statement followed by Shia Waves agency that about 750 journalists have arrived in the holy city of Karbala to cover the ceremonies of the Arba'in pilgrimage, noting that 200 of them are Arab and foreign journalists who work for different news agencies and TV channels. He also added that 14 SNG or satellite news gathering vehicles are now stationed on the entrances to the holy city of Karbala to broadcast the activities of the massive Arba'in pilgrimage, confirming that all procedures have now been taken to facilitate the movement of journalists during their media coverage. The Iraqi Ministry of Interior announced on Saturday that 3.5 million foreign pilgrims have entered the country through different border crossings and airports to participate in the massive Arba'in pilgrimage. It should be mentioned that millions of Shia Muslims commemorate the Arba'in pilgrimage of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, which marks 40 days after his martyrdom, along with his family members and loyal companions in the Battle of Karbala in the year 61 after Hijrah, corresponding to 680. Let's take a look back at today's main headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi says that traveller's prayer is complete in the entire city of Karbala. Governor of the holy city of Karbala says that this year's Arba'in is the largest pilgrimage Holy Karbala has ever witnessed. "750 local and foreign journalists in the holy city of Karbala to cover the holy Arba'in pilgrimage ceremonies." Also tonight, Twitter accused of helping Saudi authorities commit human rights violations. In an open letter to the United Nations Human Rights Council, at least 63 human rights groups have called for the creation of an independent and specific mechanism to investigate crimes and human rights violations in Afghanistan. The letter sent on Monday, September the 4th, contains 3 important requests made to the member and observer countries of the United Nations Human Rights Council. Human rights groups have demanded the extension of UN Special Rapporteur's mission in Afghanistan, while emphasizing the urgent need to establish an independent investigation mechanism in the upcoming meeting of the Council, due in 7 days, in order to document human rights abuses and atrocities, hold the perpetrators accountable, and ultimately help prevent further human rights violations. These organizations have also stressed the importance of continuing the discussion about the fate of women and girls in Afghanistan. The letter also states that over the past 2 years, Afghanistan has witnessed an alarming increase in revenge killings, executions, torture, arbitrary arrests, enforced disappearances, and crimes against human rights defenders, journalists, artists, and former government officials. And now we'll continue with some short news. Despite the ban, 67 Muslim girls students refused to remove their abaya at schools, the French education minister said on Tuesday. The new school session began on Monday, and despite the new rule, 298 students arrived at school in various regions of the country wearing an abaya, said Gabriel Attal in an interview with LMAC. Vincent Bergeneth, the lawyer of the Muslim Rights Action (ADM), said on X, formerly known as Twitter, on Friday that they filed an appeal with the Council of State to seek the suspension of the abaya at school, which violates several fundamental freedoms. The controversial move sparked a backlash against the government, which has been criticized in recent years for targeting Muslims with statements and policies. The Public Relations Center of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi's office in the holy city of Karbala has baked and distributed more than 200,000 loaves of bread for 10 days to support the service of Husseini Mawakibs. This service was a part of many activities and projects during Arba'in 2023, which were carried out in accordance with the directives and recommendations of the Supreme Religious Authority to facilitate the making of Arba'in pilgrimage and within the framework of the Grand Husseini Project. During the 10 days of this noble service, a total of 2 million loaves of bread have been baked by the centre and distributed for free among Mawakibs. In view of the arrival of millions of pilgrims in the holy city of Karbala during the Husseini Arba'in pilgrimage in 2023, the Public Relations Center of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in Karbala has implemented a project to clean the streets leading to the shrines of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein and Aba al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhum as-salam. Accordingly, more than 500 young men and volunteers are engaged in round-the-clock cleaning of the streets around the holy shrines in cooperation with the municipality of Karbala government as a part of the Grand Husseini project. Iraq Interior Minister Abdul Amir al-Shimmari has announced that all security measures have been taken to ensure the safety of the Arba'in pilgrimage. The security forces are fully on alert and all security measures have been taken to ensure the safety of the Arba'in pilgrims, said the Shimmari in a press conference, adding that all security and service requirements are available to pilgrims. It should be noted that Arba'in pilgrimage is expected to be commemorated by more than 30 million pilgrims this year. The Canadian Muslim Girl magazine released an article on the great role Sayyidah Zainab, the Prophet Muhammad's granddaughter ﷺ, played after the martyrdom of her brother Imam Hussein ﷺ. The article says that amongst the other atrocities that took place on Karbala Day was that Imam Hussein's sister Sayyidah Zainab ﷺ, his wives, children and other women were led in chains as captives to Syria. It's concluded that upon their release, that Sayyidah Zainab ﷺ and the other women returned to visit the graves of the Master of the Martyrs. Since then, millions of the followers of Ahlul Bayt ﷺ have continued to commemorate this day. The social network X, formerly known as Twitter, has been accused in a revised civil US lawsuit in the United States of helping Saudi Arabia to abuse human rights of its users. According to The Guardian, X has disclosed its users' data, including their identity and private information, at the request of the Saudi authorities by 3 Saudi agents who infiltrated the California company, posing as Twitter employees in 2014 and 2015. The level of cooperation X has shown to the Saudi authorities is beyond what the company has previously done for the governments of the US, Britain and Canada. The lawsuit was brought to court by Arij al-Sadhan, the sister of a Saudi aid worker who was forcibly disappeared and then later sentenced to 20 years in jail. Al-Sadhan's lawyer said that X willfully ignored or had knowledge of the Saudi government's campaign to ferret out critics, but because of the financial considerations and efforts to keep Saudi ties close to the Saudi government, a top investor in the company provided assistance to the kingdom. A few days ago, Human Rights Watch condemned the death sentence for a Saudi internet user solely because of his activities on Twitter and YouTube, which the organization describes as an escalation of the government's crackdown on freedom of expression. Amnesty International statistics show that in 2022, Saudi Arabia had the highest execution rate after China and Iran. Saudi government has executed at least 92 people, including some innocent young Shi'is, since the beginning of this year, more than half of the number of the Wahhabi-dominated kingdom executed in 2022, namely 148 people. The largest annual Hussein march has been launched from the Syrian city of Homs to commemorate the Arba'in of Imam Hussein alayhi salam and extend heartfelt condolences to Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam. Large numbers of Syrian followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam participate every year in this march as they walk nearly 180 kilometers towards the holy shrine of Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam in the Syrian capital Damascus. The organizers and participants confirm that this march is held in line with the Arba'in massive walk being held now by the Shia followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. It should be mentioned that millions of pilgrims are now walking towards the holy city of Karbala in Iraq to commemorate the Arba'in pilgrimage of Imam, which is on the 20th of the holy month of Safar. The International Media Foundation Fair Observer has called on the concerned parties to include the Arba'in massive pilgrimage on the Guinness World Record list for its unprecedented activities. The Media Foundation said in an article viewed by Karbala Center for Strategic Studies and Research affiliated to Imam Hussein Holy Shrine that amongst the activities that are nominated to be included in the world's record list are the largest human gathering and banquet in the world, in addition to the biggest number of volunteers. The author of the article, Mehdi Alavi, criticized the policy of the Western media towards ignoring the Arba'in pilgrimage and to only cover negative and controversial issues. Alavi, who is the president of the philanthropic World Peace Foundation, added that when protests break out in Russia, China or Iran, such events will dominate news headlines of the Western media, noting that when millions of people march to mark the greatest event in the world, the Western media fails to single out a headline for it. The Washington, D.C.-based foundation stressed out that last year, more than 21 million people gathered in Iraq defying the corona pandemic and terrorist threat, which failed to intimidate them but revealed their unprecedented commitment to humanity. We have reached the end of today's Shia Waves show. Let's take a look back at the main headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi says that travelers' prayer is complete in the entire city of Karbala. Governor of the holy city of Karbala says that this year's Arba'in is the largest pilgrimage holy Karbala has ever witnessed. "750 local foreign journalists in the holy city of Karbala to cover the holy Arba'in pilgrimage. Human rights groups call for specific mechanism to investigate human rights violations in Afghanistan. Twitter accused of helping the Saudi authorities to commit human rights violations. Syrian followers of the Ahlul Bayt begin Arba'in walk from Homs towards the Sayyidah Zainab Holy Shrine. International Media Foundation calls for including Arba'in pilgrimage on Guinness World Records list. You can view the latest news or send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us on numbers at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for watching, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the reappearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This Arba'in, Imam Hussein Charity wants you to help us reach our target of distributing 1 million water cups to those walking to the Master of Martyrs, Imam Hussein alayhi salam. As millions of Zawar embark on their journey of passion, we aim to provide and hydrate them, much like the flag bearer